Next, on our coaster set, we need to divide this board into two. This is called resawing. We're going to cut it the tall way using the bandsaw. Now, there's a few settings you'll have to set up on the bandsaw to get the most accurate cut possible. When we're cutting, we want to cut right on dead center. Otherwise, you'll have some extra planning to do later, and you'll end up with some real thin coasters. So first, let's set the blade guide height. Set your board next to the blade guide here on the table. Loosen the orange painted knob, and then lift up the guide so it's just over your board. It should be about 1/4 of an inch space. The thickness of a pencil works well. If you want to set your pencil right between the guard and your board, and then tighten up that orange knob. The next thing we need to set is the width of the fence. The fence moves back and forth like this. Now I've already measured to find the center of my board here, and I made a mark right on the dead center. Line up that center mark as best as you can with your blade, and then move the fence close so it's tight. Tighten up this knob. Again, there's no award for tightest crank knob, so just snug is fine. If we move the camera around a little bit here, and you see the way that I have the board in, okay, you can see that I'm pushing this board tight up against the fence, and that line is right on dead center with my blade. Now we're going to check that. Now, due to the camera angle here, I'm standing off to the side over here, but when you're cutting, you'll stand in front, and I'll show that in a minute. So pull the board out, turn the saw on. So again, make sure the board is outside of the saw, turn the saw on, and then just make a short cut, say 1/8 of an inch into the board. That. Then flip your board 180 degrees, and then come back at it. If the saw hits that same exact curve or the same spot that you cut, you're good. You did a good job with your measurement. You're exactly on the center. If it did not, you'll have to adjust the fence to find your new center. Okay? So now on to resawing. When you're resawing, your right hand here holds the board against the fence, and your left hand pushes forward until it gets to near the black line. Then you'll push forward with a push stick. The purpose of the push stick is to keep your hands outside of this black line and away from the blade while it's cutting. Let's move this over here, I think, for the best angle at the saw cut. So the saw is on. My right hand is pushing the board that way against the fence. I'm pushing forward with my left hand. As you're cutting, listen to the sound that the saw is making. If it sounds like it's bogging down, you're pushing too hard. Kind of watch the speed I'm sawing at. That's about right for speed. Now it's important that this hand really pushes it tight against the fence. If it doesn't hold it against the fence, you'll wind up with a crooked line, and there is no fix for that other than starting over. Notice how the board is just moving through my right hand. Now that my hand is getting near the black line, I'm going to push with the push stick down here like this. It's okay that my right hand moved through the black line. Notice how my push stick is down flat against the table. You want it down here, not up here. Down flat against the table. Now when you get near the end, I'm about 1 inch away from the end of the cut. I'm going to slow my feed rate way, way, way down so the board barely breaks through. Slow, 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 slow. Barely cracks through like that. Shut it off. Watch and wait till it's done spinning. Once it's done spinning, I'll pull my boards out like that. Okay, and if your measurements were accurate, you set them down, They should be exactly the same thickness, which is what these two are.